I have a fire in now, so you're going to be hearing the fan spinning in the background and the air whistling through the stove. But welcome back. As a follow-up to my last video, now I'm going to give some more detail on these new seeds that I have here, so I can tell you why I selected those in particular. First, we're going to go with the 42 days tomato. This is the information from Burpee. Varieties Seeds is one of the companies that had to temporarily suspend their website because of excessive seed orders. So we have a heirloom small fruited tomato, and you can see by this picture it's perfectly round sphere. They give you plant habit upright, water medium, fertilized once a month. It grows to about 60 inches, 36 to 60 inches depending on conditions, of course, and is 36 inches wide. It's a determinate bush type, you see, and full sun. Small red tomatoes, they are not cherry tomatoes. Ripen incredibly early on compact plants, and sweetly flavored fruits are mostly round, a few with pointed ends. Named for its super fast maturity period, this early and productive variety is ideal for northern short season areas and for container gardening, which here in Newfoundland most people grow their tomatoes in containers. Water thoroughly twice per week, and try to water early in the day so that the plants will dry off before evening. This regular feeding, I will be setting them in a mixture of compost, so I shouldn't have to actually feed them. Mulching helps ensure an even moisture supply, but we all know that anyway. See, the days to harvest is 40 to 50, so that's why the name 42 days. In my Excel file, I have 50 days because that's what Varieties Seed said. But this is not the only company. There's a few places I found that they could be ready to harvest in as early as 40 days from transplant. A small 1 to 4 ounce, 28 to 13 gram red tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes. I did a search for the size of cherry tomatoes, and they are 12 to 25 grams. 42 days tomatoes, the smallest one will be the size of a largest cherry tomato, and they go up to over 4 times the size of a cherry tomato. As I said, it's determinate. This is another example of the 42 days, but on the plant. This is a time lapse of a 42-day tomato plant growing. It looks like it's in about a 3-gallon bucket. And that's 42 days. Now we're going to show you Centennial Rocket Tomato. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a lot of data. The other website, as I said, is temporarily closed. This one is a kitchen table seed house. It is 2 separate pictures. This Canadian bred lovely 2-biter is an early red tomato with good flavor on bush habit plants. Be the first in your neighborhood to have ripe tomatoes. 50 days to maturity from transplant. On this website, they do have a nice little picture over here that zooms in when you put your mouse over it. That's TNT Seeds, which is another American company, I believe. So we start the seeds indoors, 6 to 8 weeks. So this is your planting instructions. But what's I wanted to point out with the planting instructions, to germinate, maintain a soil temperature of 24 degrees Celsius, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Seeds germinate in 6 to 10 days. And down here, plants will develop better with a growing temperature of 17 degrees Celsius, 62 degrees Fahrenheit, until transplanting out. Furthest north, and considering the time we're in, this seed company is very applicable since we're growing a victory garden now. Furthest north tomato, and we have a picture here. It's a cherry tomato. Here's the plants. You can see the tomatoes in among the foliage there. And here's a close-up of the tomatoes on the plant. This one says 40 to 50 days as well. Furthest north plants produce early and abundantly, even in cool weather. It's a cherry type. Fruits are small, 1 to 2 ounces each, red in color, globe shaped with nice full flavor, and are reportedly resistant to bacterial speck. I've seen that on tomatoes before. They are bite-sized for snacking or make a nice addition to tossed salad. The plants are manageable in size, allowing them to be container grown if necessary, yet they are still quite productive. Typical days to maturity is around 50 days. But here on the farm in Oregon in 2019, we started getting ripe fruit in less than 40 days. So you can compare your climate to what the Oregon climate is and see if you will get earlier fruit or not. Although it has been reportedly susceptible to concentric splitting, we have not personally observed this issue. See, furthest north was bred at the North Dakota Agriculture Experiment Station, basically the furthest north in the state, hence the name. So here's the same tomato on the Prairie Flora Greenhouse website. It says great for pots. Introduced by the North Dakota State University in 1934. A very early and prolific cherry tomato that sets fruit in cool temperatures. These dwarf plants reach 16 inches, so that's nice. That would make them, say, the size of a Tiny Tim, right? And are perfect for containers and baskets in northern areas. This is an extremely rare plant, determinate 50 days. So if you like rare tomatoes, there you have it. This is an example of what I would call an heritage tomato. So they have a picture here that zooms in as you move your mouse over it. Early, productive, and yummy variety bred by the University of Idaho. Perfect for containers. Latta County growers, Kelly and Russell Kingsland, grow this little gem, and they offer this description. Compact, determinate, and bred at UI in Latta County. Latta is well suited to Idaho's cooler nights and relatively short growing season. A prolific producer of 2 to 3 ounce delicious, well-balanced red fruit with good texture. 2 to 3 times the size of a cherry tomato, I believe. They are determinate and open pollinated. And this website, we're at Real Seeds. It's a UK website. So we're talking about super early bush tomatoes. Latta, super early salad type. This is one for your early crop. It might just be the best tomato ever. It's a super early variety that tolerates short or cool summers, which suits very well for me. Covered in 1-inch spherical red fruit on a sprawling bush. Latta is our most popular bush tomato, and it really is remarkable. The leaves are very far spaced on the stem. The plants look a bit odd, and this lets in more light to reach the fruit so that they ripen even earlier. The fruit are mostly roundish, but some are a bit ribbed with the occasional odd shape too. So the plants are quite untidy. It would be nice in a basket though. To be honest, you can't really train them or support them in any way. But if you let them get on with it, they will really make ripe, tasty tomatoes earlier than you thought possible. Fantastic flavor, balanced acid, and sweetness. This is just great raw and nice cooked too. They have some testimonials here. The one that I want to point out is this one. I live in the northern part of Norway. Now, Norway, this is Norway, Sweden, Finland. They're well up into the boreal forest. They call it the taiga over there. And was excited to see how your seeds worked here. I was especially satisfied with the Lata tomato, which was not only my earliest to ripen last year, but also the best in taste. I had 12 other varieties of tomato. This is truly one of the best tomatoes I have ever tasted. So this is exciting. Stupicé is my only indeterminate tomato for this year. This is West Coast Seeds, and their seeds are certified organic for this variety. See, pronounced Stupicé? Stupicé? So Stupicé organic tomato seeds are easy to grow, and the hardy vines thrive in a variety of adverse climates with short growing season. Sets easily in cold weather, one of the earliest producers on the West Coast. Enjoy prolific yields all summer long. The earliest Stupicé tomatoes are sometimes mild, but flavor rapidly improves. Stupicé have wonderfully sweet flavor with a tangy finish that tastes great fresh, but truly shines when cooked into sauces or baked into tarts. Stupicé also makes terrific soup. This is a variety originating in the Czech Republic. Now, Czech Republic is here. This is the satellite view. If I were to zoom out, on the satellite view, it looks like the taiga region, its southern border, comes down something like this. They were introduced to North America in 1976. The plants are naturally disease-resistant, compact, indeterminate vine, so I guess a slow-growing vine, with attractive potato-like leaves. Small fruits, 5 centimeters, 2 inches in diameter, grow in clusters on easy-to-manage vines that grow, here it says 1.2 to 2.8, 4 to 6 feet tall. So that's nice. That should be good for those self-watering planters that I have made. You can see that on an earlier video. I might put a link to that in here. So let's look at some of their pictures over here. That's their first picture. And here is the close-up of one of them. And a bunch on the vine. And then a close-up of that other last picture. They are saying it matures in 60 to 65 days. Beaver Lodge Slicer. 55 days. These red slicers are the first tomatoes to ripen in our gardens. This will be the Hawthorne Farm Organic Seeds if you want to check out where they have their gardens. They have the wonderful tomatoey taste normally associated with beefsteak tomatoes, unusual for such an early tomato. Determinate plants are so loaded with smooth, blemish-free fruit that you can barely see the leaves. Perfect for containers or hanging baskets. So here they have a picture of 3 of them in someone's hand to give you an idea of how large they are. On this picture, you can see a Canadian nickel 5-cent piece up here, and the 3 tomatoes in a row. This is from Tomato Fest. They give you a close-up as you zoom over. This was bred at the Beaver Lodge Research Centre in Alberta, Canada. One of the earliest maturing tomato varieties, 54 days, our Tomato Fest organic seeds produce short, compact, determinate plants that are loaded with 2-inch smooth, red, round tomatoes that contain rich and well-balanced flavors. Surprisingly big flavor for such an early tomato. This is a perfect tomato variety for growing in hanging basket or in a patio container. A good choice for cooler and foggy growing regions like Northern California. And I'm in a drier part of Newfoundland, so I don't really have to worry so much about this foggy. But all along the south coast of Newfoundland and in St. John's, they get a lot of fog. So they have cooler and foggy. I'm just in the cooler part of that. Silvery fir tree tomato. This is why I have an extra tomato variety that I wasn't planning on. Heritage Harvest Seed is one of the companies that always sends you a free gift with your seed order. But I'm happy with their choice of free gift. Here is, where are we? Wild Rose Heritage Seed Company. This silvery fir tree tomato is a delicate early season tomato, a determinate Russian variety, which is famous for its unique small delicate foliage and steady production of rich flavored medium-sized scarlet red fruit between 5 to 7 centimeters, 2 to 3 inches. It is a bush type tomato that grows to about 61 centimeters, 24 inches high. This tomato variety thrives in pots and in the garden. So here's a really good close-up of the foliage of this plant. Doesn't give me a close-up there. Oh, it's giving me a close-up of the seeds. So why doesn't it give me a close-up of this guy? I don't know. Let's go over to Victory Seeds. And here we've got some tomatoes with a piece of the foliage. And you see, this is the inside of the tomato. And it is on a measured piece of paper. So this one you can see that it is actually pretty much 8 centimeters, which would be a little over 3 inches wide. There's our plants, a close-up of the plants. And there is a single plant, just someone's hand there showing you its growth habit. Oh, and here's a close-up of that other one. A close-up of the close-up, so you can see the exact what this thing looks like inside. It's a beautiful one, and it is 55 days to maturity. They might say it here. No, this one is saying 73 days determinate. On this website, it says they are 73 days determinate. Now, I don't think that's what I had. Let's find out. On annuals, we'll go down to tomatoes. Because when I got them, I didn't know what their variety is. See, I have tomato silvery fir tree, 55 days. So let's go to every Heritage Harvest seed. Even though they are not open now, I can search this up and you see they say 55 to 60 days here. So I don't know why the other guys say 70 days. The early white scallop squash. Now this is another first for me. I have never grown this type of squash before. It's one of the patty pan squash. And of course you can see what they look like over here in the picture. Here they call it by its right name, a heritage vegetable. And you'll see why in just a minute. Produces 12 centimeters, 5-inch disc-shaped fruit with a creamy, nutty flavor. Chef's favorite at the farmer's market. It will transplant better when using paper cups or compostable pots, which most things are like that. 4 to 6 plants per hill, 8 feet apart. 49 days to harvest. So it's almost as fast as a radish. This is what they look like when they're early on. And there's the leaves you can see of the plant. And there they are, fully mature on the plant. The early white scallop is a 400-year heirloom variety. 400 years old. This smooth-skinned disc-shaped squash is about 12 to 14 centimeters, 5 to 6 inches in diameter, with smooth scalloped edges and white speckled green rinds. Creamy texture and nutty flavor when cooked properly. The early white scallop grows on a bush-type habit and produces an abundant quality of these flying saucer-shaped fruits. Easy to grow and unbothered by most insects. When I done the search for just white scallop squash, it brings up several recipes right away, so it shall be fairly easy for me to find out how to cook these things. Vegetable marrow. So I've read into this now since I did my last video. Large bushes produce pale oval squash, can be used as zucchini just after pollination or left to mature. When mature at 25 centimeters, 10 inches, it has a hard white skin and a creamy interior that is popular for stuffing and baking. White vegetable marrow squash seeds are a Lebanese type. It can be picked young when pale green and used like a summer squash. The compact size of the plants will appeal to urban growers or gardeners with limited space. Plants are prolific and will produce over a long summer season if kept picked. This is the traditional vegetable marrow that is so popular in the UK. When I search for vegetable marrow recipes, you get pictures similar to this. So here you can see this is a roast bone marrow, and this is a stuffed vegetable marrow. So mature, I'm thinking that it is kind of like bone marrow. Of course, I'll have to grow it and cook it and find out. And once again, I will go by one of these recipes because I've never grown this before. This looks good though. Vegetable marrow, cheese, and tomato. It's a Ukrainian recipe. Vegetable marrow, cheese, and tomato pancakes. Sounds good, huh? Randonnized squash is basically a bulb-shaped zucchini. A round French heirloom zucchini grown for generations. The succulent, tender flesh is at its peak, while the fruits are still less than 7.5 centimeters, 3 inches in diameter. Or grow the fruits on to be hollowed out and stuffed for an interesting summer side dish. The flesh of this zucchini has such delicate skins that the fruits are prone to bruising, which is why it doesn't turn up in grocery stores. So if you want this zucchini, you have to grow it yourself. Randonnized zucchini seeds, however, are perfect for the home vegetable garden. Try them steamed at just 2 centimeters, 1 inch diameter, or stuffed at 10 centimeters, 4 inches. Now, these say it matures in 60 days. Here's your one picture. Put your little further apart so you can see the whole thing. And here's one that's growing on the vine. This was West Coast Seeds. Now, if we come over here, you see, and who am I on? Kitchen Garden Seeds. They say 50 to 55 days, which is what Heritage Harvest Seed said. These stocky plants need a sunny 3 foot in all directions, but you won't begrudge them the space once you've experienced this round French heirloom. Each plant yields many jade-colored zucchini over a long period. Harvest randonnized from golf ball to softball size, while still pale and milky green. Unique in the garden and wonderful in cuisine. It is ideal for braising or stuffing whole, slicing and baking with cheese or in cream sauce with basil. It is just sublime grilled, slice thickly, or use small whole squash, brush with olive oil and grill. Turn occasionally until fragrant, lightly browned, and sweet and juicy. This here means it's open pollinated. The Morden Early Cucumber. I bring this picture up a little bigger for you. Morden Hurley is a blunt pickling variety with white spines lining the medium green fruit. The compact growth of this variety doesn't take too much space, making it great for smaller areas in your garden. It's an heirloom. Flavor, they're saying, sweet and crunchy. Days to harvest, 45 days. Days to seed germination, 8 to 10. Now, I have it pulled up on another website. And their picture, it's more like a normal green cucumber. A very early and productive pickling type cucumber. Compact vines are good for container production or those with limited space. Quickly produces lots of fruit, which are great for pickles when small, but also delicious sliced and eaten fresh. Fruits have the classic pickle appearance, dark green with soft white spines and some slight ridges. Plants are cold weather tolerant, great for northern and short season areas. Introduced in 1956 by the Morden Research Station in Morden, Manitoba, Canada. The bush crop cucumber. They have a few different pictures here. This is what the cucumbers look like. Here's one on the vine, and here's a vine planted in the soil. 55 days, as its name implies, bush crop cucumber plants are compact, dwarf, bushy, and yet very productive. The cucumber fruits are deep green in color and harvested at 6 to 8 inches in length for slicing. They are also a good choice for making pickles. Since the plants are compact with very short vines, they are also a great choice for small garden spaces. Here we've got a website called Growjoy, and they also have the bush crop cucumber plant. And they have a picture of it growing in your regular patio planter. Bush crop cucumber plants grow very short vines, only 1 to 2 feet long, yet produce generous amounts of 6 to 8 inch slicing cucumbers that are crunchy and delicious. They are an excellent choice for gardeners with limited space, easy to grow and disease resistant. They need full sun, moist soil. Days to harvest is 50. Vining habit like all other cucumbers. Plant mature size, so it will go up to about 10 inches high and 36 inches wide. It attracts bees. They are open pollinated and they are resistant to scab. I wonder if my phone will make me look any better than the regular camera will. So that's the special seeds I got. All of those should do very well in my garden. And if you're in a similar climate, which basically most of the boreal forest, if you're over in Europe somewhere, the taiga, that is a good choice for you. And since the tomatoes and that last cucumber especially are bush type varieties, you can grow them in pots. You can start them earlier, move them outside when it's warm. If the weather gets cold, you can move them back in again. If you have little space, you can grow them on a balcony. Say if you're in an apartment, you can grow them on your just little deck. So I think they are going to be a very good choice for both my climate and for people in small spaces. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like, give me a thumbs up on the way out, and I'll see you in the next one.